which some people may not realize this is a whole area of IT. Phones, VoIP phones, voice over IP. There's like a weird intersection of like telephony, phone calls, and networking, and they put them together. And I'm like, what? I fell in love with this.
If you've ever watched the networkchuck video, you already know this guy makes IT feel like a superpower.
I have the power!
But today, we're not doing tutorials or product reviews or any of that kind of thing. This is something different. This is an unfiltered conversation with one of the most recognizable faces in tech YouTube. We're talking about the grind, the burnout, the breakthroughs, and everything in between. From coffee-fueled certifications to building a massive community, we're digging into Chuck's journey and talking about the stuff that you don't always hear about. If you've ever wondered what it takes to turn your passion for tech into a full-time career, or just looking for some straight-up motivation, you're in the right place. Let's dive into it. Chuck, welcome, and thank you again for coming back to the channel.
Yeah, Dakota, it's a pleasure. I always have a good time here. And by the way, that was one take. That was impressive.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I practiced a few times.
I'm just like, oh, he's gonna break here in a second. He's gonna break. No, that was one take, smooth.
Well, again, thank you. It's so great talking and catching up with you. We were talking a bit beforehand, and it's just amazing what you've been doing in the space. And I just got to take a few more seconds here and just, honor what you've been doing for the community and just in general, and just giving people the motivation. So thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. And it's the reason I still do what I do. Like being on YouTube, it's hard, and it's definitely a different landscape than when I first started, but it's hearing these stories. And it's so funny because when I first started out, I was the young guy just inspiring all the young up and comers, and now I'm having people reach out to me and go, "Hey, man, I used to watch your videos back in the day." And now I'm in IT and I'm like, "Back in the day? Am I that old?" But I love it when people come to me and tell me like, yeah, you're the reason I got started in IT, or you're the reason I jumped into cybersecurity. That's why I do this. I love it so much.
What is like the biggest misconception people have about you that couldn't be further from the truth, you think?
Mm. So this is something I wish was obvious, but it's not. I'm not an expert in anything. Like you should not hire me in a professional technical role unless I had time to acclimate, because I teach, and that's about all I have time for. And when you see me teaching on YouTube, it's because I've studied that thing I'm teaching very much in depth weeks before, and then I'm teaching it. I just so happen to have found my gifting, which is explaining things. I can do, but I'm not an expert. So people, when they normally meet me, they think, oh, you're a networking expert. Oh, you're a professional hacker. No, I've dived deep enough into these things to be able to teach some concepts, which is its own thing. That's extremely hard. I've been in situations where I've been an expert, where I've been a network engineer, and it's really hard to explain what you do. So it's a whole different skill set. So what I do nowadays is I devote most of my time to learning how to explain things better, and not so much being a professional expert. So I wish more people knew that, because it's like a misconception, like, oh, we're gonna get this expert on the line. I'm not an expert. I just pretend to be on TV.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
Do people actually reach out to you all the time for that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they do. So they assume if you talk about something on YouTube and you have a following, then, oh, you must do it every single day, and that's your job. So I've had people, and I've had to decline this because I'm like, I wouldn't be of help. I've had police departments from different countries reach out to me and say, hey, we need your help finding this criminal. I'm like, I can't, that's not really what I do. Like, I can point you in the right direction. There's some amazing people who do this every day. I am not the person for that. I play this guy on TV. I cannot do that.
But there's a skill in that, having that ability to articulate knowledge and to teach other people and inspire other people. I think you've done an amazing job with that. And that is a really difficult skill that very few people have, I feel like.
Yeah, I found that it's not the experts who are very good at explaining things. In fact, if you meet a real expert, most of the time they're terrible at teaching. And there are rare cases, but it's a different mindset. I think it's a different thing you bring to the table. Now, I can sit down with an expert. I can go, show me enough about what you do to help me understand it, and I can teach someone else what you do. But I could never do what you do because that's a whole different thing. I mean, I probably could eventually if I really sat down and tried to figure it out. But yeah, Dakota, you and me, we're content creators. Like we want to spend more time just teaching. And but who am I talking? You actually do this every day. You're a professional, so you're more of an expert than I am ever will be for a long time.
No, and that's one thing about me. I'll never claim to be an expert, but for I feel like also different reasons. Yes, I do like my day job. I'm a director of network operations. I live and breathe networking every single day. I dream about this stuff, but I won't ever claim to be an expert because I really feel like no one can truly be an expert except for there's the select few that like just devote their life to every waking moment. And those people rarely have a YouTube channel. There's a few of them out there, but I feel like those people you hit the nail on the head. They don't necessarily are great. They're not great at explaining things. And my whole thing is like when I got into tech, I felt like there was this like stone wall in the industry that like I couldn't see past. I couldn't find a path into the industry.
Mm.
And my whole thing is I want to break down that wall for people. I want to, demystify like how scary tech is because while it is kind of scary to get into, if you have the motivation is the thing, like this whole world will open up to you. And there's people here that are more than willing to help.
That is what you said is so true. And I know that's your heart behind what you do, and that's largely what I do too. I felt like I found a cheat code to life almost. Like, before I was just kind of going down a weird path, not really having any guidance. And when I jumped into IT, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. You can do this. And not only can it, like, you can just get a job on the help desk. Like, you don't need a certification. It helps. You don't need experience. It helps. But you work at Starbucks, have Starbucks experience, jump on a help desk, and that experience you start gaining at the help desk level will immediately apply and help you to grow so fast. And that's what I did. Like I saw, like, you're a director, you know how fast someone can move up. You look at the other guys around you going, hey, what are you doing? You're typing in a terminal. I have no idea what that is. Can you teach me that?
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I was doing what he was doing. Like that's just how it happens. And that's what's amazing about IT. And that's the reason we talk about it all the time. It's so cool because it is fun. Like today, I went down a rabbit hole of just, I don't think I looked up from my screen. In fact, this meeting very much surprised me because I had my briefing this morning with my assistant. She told me it was happening, but 4:50 came around and I was deep in the terminal just typing away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a meeting. I gotta go. And that's just how amazing IT is. But you can lose yourself in it, and it can change your life because it's not like traditional stuff. It's not like traditional education where you have to go down a regimented path. You have to pay your dues. No, you can design your own path, and I love that about it.
It is so cool. And, I tell people like, I get asked literally every single day, how do I get started in tech? How do I land my job? And I tell them like, there is no two paths in this industry that are the same. Everyone comes from different ways, and you got to really find out what your journey looks like. You can go the college route, and for some people, they need that structure of like a college education. I'm not going to knock college education because they have their place. Some people really need that college education, and for some of the higher end jobs, it's still kind of a requirement. Unfortunately, I feel like that's starting to fade away, but for me, that wasn't my case. I couldn't do college. I was a college dropout. I had a huge passion for tech when I first started out. Like I did the CCNA back in high school, and then I tried to go into college, and then I just kind of like flopped and just did jobs to put food on the table. And it took me like, gosh, 10 years to come back around to finally starting in tech. I've told this story to you before and on my channel, but I was a bulldozer operator before I got into tech. And I was done doing a job that I didn't enjoy anymore. And I knew I enjoyed tech. So I knew I couldn't get it into college. Like college wasn't for me. And I really didn't have money to throw up boot camps. That's another path. So
Mm.
I decided to go YouTube and watch videos. And I eventually got certified and stuff like that. And I I kid you not, this career field can be as lucrative and as fast paced as you really want it to be because it took me 3 years to go from help desk to director of network operation with no degree.
Mm.
I mean, I had a handful of certifications by the time I hit director level, but still, I just had pure dedication and willingness to learn. And that's really, I think, the key to success in this field.
You hit the nail on the head. I think, and this field rewards that very much so,
Yeah.
because it's not to say that. Well, actually, when I went through when I was on the help desk and when I saw that you could just jump up and move forward, like if you wanted to level up, they gave you a path. They said, "Hey, just learn this thing. And if you can show us that you know it, we'll let you do it." I'm like, "Okay, let's do that." But then I looked around. I'm like, why isn't anyone else doing this? And I would ask them like, oh, I'm happy where I'm at. And that's fine. And that's fine for those people. But if you're hungry, you have motivation, they reward that. That happens. And
Absolutely.
there are jobs where it's harder to move up. And I totally like we'll probably see in the comments, I'm really stuck at like there are jobs like that. But for the most like in most of my experience, it is you can move up pretty quickly. It's amazing. But yeah, I love your story, Dakota, because you changed careers, and that's my heart is for people like that who realize I kind of hate what I'm doing right now. Like my life is not going where actually I don't even know where my life was going to go. I'm just here now.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing that you need more money to make life life work. I've got kids. What do I do? And that's where I hit. And I think many people I meet in IT, like you, Dakota, you kind of already had a love for IT. That wasn't me. Like I wasn't looking to get into IT. I wasn't like a super nerd. I mean, my dad was in IT and he had showed me computer stuff, but I never really showed an interest in it. My interest was like making videos, which is why I do this now. I've been on YouTube since 2016 when it first came out. Or yeah, that's right. No, 2006. 2006. Getting my dates wrong. So I had no desire to be in IT until I needed to be. And I thought, okay, I'll just try this. I'll see if it works. I don't think I'm necessarily gifted in that area, but I'll just try it. And what I found, and it so surprised me, is that I loved it. And I think that can be true for anybody. Like you may not be the most gifted person in IT, but if you work hard and you really try to know the stuff, there will be a place for you. And you may not go down and this is what I love about IT too, right? You may not go down the path of becoming a tech. Maybe you learn enough IT to be a marketing person. Maybe you learn enough IT to be in sales. Maybe you learn enough IT to, I don't know, just do something like one of those neighbor skills, right? You don't have to be the tech guy. You can be whatever your gifting is, your personal gifting. And I think finding that is very, very hard now because school doesn't teach that. School doesn't teach you to find what you're gifted at and then channel that into something. That's actually something that a partner of mine are kind of trying to figure out how we can revamp education a bit to where that's put front and center. Let's help you figure out what you love and get you going. Because I think that's totally missing right now.
It is because, again, it goes back to everyone has a different path, a different journey, different set of skills, different passions. And there is a place for every skill set and passion in tech. Like you said, tech adjacent, sales, um, marketing, so on. Like there's project management, like there's tons of different things.
Hmm.
And this field will let you run as wild as you want to. And I'm curious, like for you, like what when did it start clicking for you that like how broad this field was and like how like wonderful it was, I guess.
I think it wasn't very long after I started on the help desk because I was so blessed to be in a career or a company where the entire IT department was in one room. So I'd be sitting here on like the wall with the three help desk guys that were there. I was one of them. And then on the other side of the aisle, on the other wall, was the network engineer, the system engineer, three programmers. And I'm like, what do all these people do? And I got a chance to learn that. I'm like, I didn't know IT was this, that there were different levels. First of all, I thought just if you're an IT guy, you're an IT guy. That typical TV, like when you try to tell someone who doesn't know anything about IT what you do, they're like, oh, you're like help desk support. Like if my printer doesn't work, I can call you.
Yeah.
No, no, you cannot, because I can figure it out, but I'm no better than you.
The lame IT guy, and everybody hates me.
I didn't know there were so many things. So yeah, being on the help, and that's why I love the help desk because many people don't know that. but when you get in it, it's like it's like taking the I forget, is it the blue pill or the red pill in the Matrix? I don't remember. It's
Yes.
taking one of those pills and having your eyes open. You're like, oh my gosh, this is a whole thing, and I can choose which way I want to go. And my best advice for people is choose the path that has the most upward mobility. So for me, I chose networking because they needed a networking person. Not because I'm like, oh, I saw the command line and I fell in love. No, no, no. They said, we need help. I'm like, okay, I can help. And I'm like, there's opportunity there. So yeah, that's my best advice for people is, yeah, follow your passion, but I think you'll find your passion with whatever choice you make. So pick the thing that will give you the most momentum, the most upward mobility. Identify like maybe they're running out of cloud people, jump into cloud. Maybe they need someone who knows firewall, jump into firewall. Like there's so many options. It's so fun.
Absolutely. So you got in the help desk, you chose networking as a path. Where did the career journey go for you for there or go for you from there? How did you go from this networking guy to creating a 4 million subscriber YouTube channel?
Oh, it took me a while. Because I did not want to be a YouTuber. Actually, there was a moment where I wanted to be a vlogger, a family vlogger. Back in the day when family vlogging was at its height, I'm like,
Survival vlog, entry one.
I was gonna say, I think everyone who is like interested in YouTube at one point wanted to be a family vlogger. Like I know I have. Yeah.
yeah. It's like, I've got kids. They're pretty cute,
Yeah.
I think. Let's put them on TV. Glad it didn't work out, actually, because those families, some make it work, some are just not doing so well. So I'm glad we didn't
Yeah.
make it. But so I mean, I was always YouTube adjacent, but like I knew my career is my career. And I think the moment so I'll answer your question. But I'm gonna like go around the back. Sorry, I'm drinking like a seltzer water. Um, I I fell in love with IT because it was the first job that I wasn't bored at, and that I would look up from my desk and it would be time to go, and I was sad about that. Like I'm not done yet, and I'm like, wait, did I just say that about work? That felt so weird, and it became a problem because I was coming home late. My wife got mad at me, but it paid off. So, anyways, I was a network engineer. Well, actually, I went from help desk, or let me step back. I was junior help desk, less than less. I went to help desk, got a promotion, and then I got to junior network engineer because I just expressed a willingness to learn. I would go to the data center with the guys on the maintenance weekends, not getting paid any extra money, just there to help. And eventually, the reason I got promoted to network engineer is because the main guy left, and my CIO was like, "Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Sure, sure." I could not do it. I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm not. I kid you not. The network engineer that was leaving, I'm like, can I come over to your house like a few nights and like study with you? And like you can show me everything, like go over the firewalls, the ASA configuration, because I don't know. So he did that, and he was just the best guy.
So awesome.
So that's one piece of advice I would give people. Like, don't be afraid to step into an area that is gonna make you grow, that you're not ready for. You'll get ready. You'll get ready. And if you don't, and if you fail, you learn so much in that process too. So, anyways, I'm a network engineer. Um, I found that I really loved Cisco voice, which some people may not realize this is a whole area of IT. Phones, VoIP phones, voice over IP. There's like a weird intersection of like telephony, phone calls, and networking, and they put them together. And I'm like, what? I fell in love with this, mainly because they didn't have a phone guy. You're seeing a trend, right? They didn't have a phone guy. I'm like, I'll be the phone guy. And that decision really propelled me very quickly because that's a rare skill. Not many network engineers enjoy voice. And I'm like, I'll enjoy it for them. I'm going to get paid. So I enjoyed voice.
Getting paid.
I learned voice. I started getting I got my CCNA voice back when they had that certification.
Yeah.
And I was at my job for probably that one company for maybe 5 years before I made the jump. Because when you stay at a company for too long, you'll get those incremental raises. But if you want to make some serious money, it's moving to a different company.
Yeah.
And I realized that when I started applying, and they were like, "We can pay you this much." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" that's monopoly money. That's not real. But no, it was a real thing. So what was cool is I worked in a way to where I made sure I had in-demand skills. What I would do in my downtime is I would get on LinkedIn, get on Monster, Dice, and look at jobs that I like my dream jobs. And I would look at the skills they would look for, and I would just go, I'm going to add that to my list. I'm going to add that to my list. And I would do it in my job. So I feel like, hey, CIO, I want to implement Cisco Expressway in our environment because I think it would really help us. And this was like a tool that allowed you to remotely do calls and stuff. It was a whole thing. I'm not sure it's around anymore. But I presented that because I wanted to put it on my resume. So I pushed us in that direction. It was a good thing. It was good for the company, but it was really good for me. So being in IT, it's kind of like a give and take. Like you you get to like you're getting paid to learn every day. It's like you're in school every day. Half your job is figuring out stuff and figuring how I can't talk today. Figuring out how to make things work. So anyways, any questions so far, Dakota, by the way? I'm just gonna keep going.
Oh no, no, absolutely. Keep going.
Okay, cool. So I land my next job, which was a whole. It's weird going from one IT department to another because you're like learning a whole. No IT department is no two IT departments are the same.
No, never.
Like they're going to be vastly different. They're going to use different technologies. Like I was a Cisco guy through and through, and moving to the next place, they had a bit of Palo Alto. They had a bit of what was the other brand? I forget now. I think Cisco bought them anyway. It doesn't matter. And they just had a bunch of different things, and I'm like, oh my gosh! But you get used to it. You realize that all tech is
Yeah.
similar. Like if you learn the concepts, if you know what a VLAN is, if you know routing, OSPF, BGP, if you learn those concepts, they're standards. They apply to every area. And if you know Cisco, you can go anywhere. So anyways, I get to the voice job, and I made the mistake of moving far away from my job. Up until that point, I'd always been like 5 minutes away from my job. I lived in the city, so I could just drive to work. But this is the first time I had a commute. This murdered my soul. Now I know many of you probably have a commute, and that's hard. I had an hour there, an hour back, and this robbed me of energy. It robbed me of time with my kids, and I'm like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? So that's when I started praying in my car every day on the way there, on the way back. God, I don't think this is for me. Help me find a way. And that's when I started working on this whole YouTube thing. I had made, if you go back in my channel, back in 2014, the birth of networkchuck, I I just decided to make a YouTube video about networking. I'd always done personal YouTube videos. If you go on my personal channel, you'll see I did the original cinnamon challenge. If you remember the cinnamon challenge where you get the spoonful full of cinnamon, try to swallow it,
Ugh.
my video was the first one ever on YouTube. So you can go look that up. Uh, you won't recognize me though. You'll have to like really figure it out. Ask AI or something. So I made this first video in the IT closet of my first job, and I was just like, my motivation for that was I saw this guy on YouTube named George Almazan. He's not really making content anymore, but back then, like back in 2014. There weren't YouTubers like you and me, Dakota. Like there weren't people making content about Cisco. There might have been some programming YouTube channels, but this branch of IT was ignored. Nobody knew about it. So there's just one guy who was making content about his Cisco certification journey, and it inspired the heck out of me. It wasn't like a huge production. He wasn't doing anything crazy, but just the fact that he was talking about his CCNP and he was moving towards a CCIE, I'm like, I could binge this guy all day. This is exciting because I was studying for my CCNP and I loved just seeing someone else talk about it. Then I thought, I like YouTube. I can do this. Let me try it. So that was my first video. I actually, my CIO had asked me to make some training videos for the IT department to like hand out to our users so we didn't have so many calls. It was for the phone stuff. So I convinced him to buy this camera, and it's that camera that I used for my video in the back closet. There was no lock on that closet, so I had to close it, and I'm like looking around going, okay, is anyone coming? No. I'm going to try and make a video. And it was the worst video ever, but I love looking back on that because it's the first moment where I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I thought it was a waste of time, and I ignored it until 2017. 2017 is when I realized that commutes suck and that working a 9 to 5 may not be for my personality type. You might be this might be you. During work, you might get up and get bored and start walking around the building. That was me. I got really bored because my previous job was you had to know everything in IT. You had to know the Active Directory. You had to know a little bit about Exchange. You had to know like everything. So like we were always hair on fire busy. This new company, I had one role. It was voice and a little bit of networking. So I had a lot of extra time. So I just walked around and got bored and I had a 2 hour commute. I'm like, this is not for me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was the worst. But so I started making videos in my house, and again, I thought it wouldn't go anywhere, but I wanted to try it because I found that I enjoyed making them, and I wasn't teaching anything back then. Like I was scared to teach. I would make videos like, here's 6 CCNA tips for your next certification. Then I would do here's 7 CCNA tips, and then here's 6 travel tips to study while you're studying for your seat. Like I was running out of ideas pretty fast. But I started making a few training videos, and I started doing training videos about Cisco Voice. I have some old ones on my channel. It was about Cisco hunt groups. Basically, it's a way to when you call the help desk, it can like go between different people, and you get the first agent. The most basic way to do that. But I made a video about it. And does anyone here know Jeremy Chara?
I definitely do. Yeah.
Raise your hand if you know Jeremy. Like he may not be a big deal anymore. He's about to be though. I'll get to more of that later. But back in the day, if you wanted to learn Cisco, you learned it from him. And if you couldn't afford it, you would go bootleg it. You'd go download it from Pirate Bay because he was good. And I watched him all the time. He's the reason I'm in IT. Like I know this because I watch his CCNA stuff. I watched his CCNA voice stuff. He got me excited about voice. And one day I checked my Twitter DMs. This is back when it was Twitter. And it's a DM from Jeremy Chara. So I'm like, first of all, making sure it's actually him. And then I'm like hitting my wife, honey, you'll never guess. Like I'm like freaking out because she knows who I'm talking about. I play his videos in the car. She knows his voice just like I do. And then he says this to me. He goes, hey, I saw you on YouTube. I love your content. Do you want to jump on a call? Like, what? I'm gonna get to talk to Jeremy Chara. So it's a weird experience to be listening to someone for so long and then have a conversation with them. It's almost like you forget to talk because you're like you're so used to that passive listening, and that was my experience jumping on the call with him. But essentially, he wanted me to come work for CBT Nuggets to give it a try because he liked what I. And back then, like he had to have seen something because there was nothing. Like I was not good. I was stinky. Like I was not a good creator, and I guess he saw something. So I give it a try. I did this video about VLANs. I think it might still be on my channel, and it's so bad. It was so bad, and I think I did it 4 times, and it took me forever. I wanted to make sure it was perfect. I can't believe they let me start making content, but they did. They said yes. They let me start making content, and working at this company, CBT Nuggets, was a life-changing thing for me. First of all, I didn't have to go into the office. It's a remote job. They're based in Oregon. I could stay in Texas. This is great. But it required me to learn how to teach, which I thought I knew how to teach a little bit. I did not. So I got to learn under the masters. I was learning under Jeremy Chara, masterful teacher. Keith Barker. Oh my goodness, he's amazing. So like but my first week working at CBT Nuggets, they actually flew me to his house, and I stayed with him for a week, and like it was like a boot camp.
So
Watch me do this. It was intense, and I was scared to death. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to like have Keith Barker watch me teach.
yeah.
That's not okay. I'm terrible. Uh, it was the most terrifying thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
But it's under these guys where because anybody can try to make a training video, but if you try to explain a basic concept, you might sit there and rattle off for like 30 minutes, and it was pointless, and that's how I used to do it. They taught me to no. Get that idea down to its single most basic form and teach it in 5 minutes. And I kept having to do that over and over and over and over again. And that truly shaped what I do here on YouTube now. So working at CBT Nuggets, I'm making content. They first gave me the voice content to make for the CCNP collaboration, which I think is still around. And then I got into making CCNA with my heroes. So the same CCNA course I watched coming up, I was making it with the people I watched now, which was a surreal moment. I was making it with Keith Barker and Jeremy Chara. But at that time, I was still making YouTube content. I was like, I'm taking what I learned at CBT Nuggets and I'm going to start teaching on YouTube. And that was fun because CBT Nuggets was frustrating for me. I would make a video, it would I would edit it, it would go into this box and it wouldn't be ready or seen by anyone for a long time. On YouTube, I'm like, record, edit, go.
Right.
Instant feedback. People comment, "Oh, that was cool," or they say, "This is one of your worst, Chuck." Like, but instant feedback. You get that.
Yeah.
So YouTube was always like my favorite thing, and I saw that I was helping the most people with YouTube. So eventually, and Dakota, you're kind of experiencing this now. Sponsors started coming out. They're like, "Whoa, we sell networking things, and this guy over here is talking about networking things. Is there something we can do here?" And that's exactly what happened. I started making sponsorships, which I had no idea what I was doing. In fact, I don't think anyone did. Most of the companies I worked with had never ever worked with an influencer before. I was the first one, so they would come to me and go, "How do we do this?" And I'm like, aren't you supposed to tell me that? Because I don't know. Like, I think I was my first sponsorship was INE back in the day, and it was like for pennies. Like I think it was maybe $400, maybe not even that.
Yeah.
And I got to give away some content. That was so exciting. But more and more sponsors came up, and influencer marketing started becoming more of a thing. And it got to a point where I could leave and make this my full-time gig. And it was actually oddly enough, during COVID. So I'd been working at CBT, doing YouTube part time, recording content for training, recording content for YouTube. That was so exhausting, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. COVID made it really clear for me because the world shut down, and everyone just kind of had to be by themselves. I got a chance to really reflect and go, okay, I think YouTube, doing my own thing, is where I want to be. So I moved that direction. Quitting was the most terrifying thing ever because you leave security. You leave your insurance. You leave that guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah.
And you're stepping into a world where it all depends on your performance. Work always depends on your performance to a point, but you can have those lazy weeks. You can go into work one day and mail it in, and the company's not going to die. When you're on your own, it's all you. Like it's terrifying. But I made the jump, and back then, I mean, I had nothing. I was probably 60, 70, 80,000 subscribers, jumping off this my own. It was a terrifying world. And not to say that it's nothing like Dakota, you have 60,000, which is amazing. Like that journey takes a long time.
It does.
I remember when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I lost my mind. I was telling my family like, "Hey, I think I'm a big deal now."
But I'm kind of a big deal.
So you guys gotta recognize that. I remember going out to lunch with one of the guys I used to work with, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting like 100 views on each video. You will not believe how cool I am right now. Like it's amazing." Like I just remember being so happy. So celebrating those milestones is incredible. And I remember getting on a call one time with you probably know Zach from IT Career Questions.
Oh yeah. I've had many conversations with Zach.
Yeah, so this is back in the day where we're both on the come up, and I think he had hit maybe 90, and I wasn't. Like I never ever thought I would hit 100K. That was like the thing, and so we were talking like, "Oh yeah, that's our goal," and he convinced me to start doing a live stream, and I'm like, no, I can't do a live stream. Live streaming is terrifying. I'm good at like making videos and highly editing myself, but I could never jump on a live stream and just like talk to people like this. Heck no. But I'm glad he pushed me to do it because I found that it's a fun thing and it creates a new level of I mean, Dakota, you live streamed before.
Oh yeah.
It creates a new level of, even though you're not necessarily receiving back the conversation, you feel like you are talking to your people directly. And I think
It's just another level of community you're building, I feel like.
yeah, like it does break that barrier that a YouTube video can't. So it was so cool to start doing that. That changed a lot of what I did. And so anyways, COVID, that hit, went full time, and man, going full time on YouTube and putting all your energy into it, that hitting the gas, my gosh, things just went. And I was so blessed in that process. But it was from all the stuff I had learned from being a network engineer, from being on the help desk, learning how to learn, because that's what I love about IT. You find that the most successful people in IT are the people who learned how to learn well. If you think that you're going to go to school, come out and be done with learning, you're gonna have a rough ride, buddy. You're just starting. Uh,
Yeah, this field is evolving so rapidly, especially with the introduction of AI now. I feel like the field is evolving more rapidly than ever before, and you got to use every single tool that you have available to just try to keep up. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, like to try to discourage anyone. Like for me, that this gets me excited. Like I love learning new things, and one thing I had a big fear of getting into tech early on was like some of those roles like you were talking about when you got that position working in VoIP is being siloed off. Like that was like a big scare of mine because I'd come from a job where all I did was a bulldozer operator and it was just mind numbing. I didn't want that to happen in tech.
mm,
So I made sure whatever job I did, I was a jack of all trades, which when you're that, you are constantly learning because you have such a broad scope in front of you. But yeah, you can't stop learning in this field. The moment you do, you're left in the dust. You're not evolving.
you're so right, and it has been true for a long time. It is very true now. With AI, it's a great thing you brought up. Like I know people, they're 50-50 on AI. Some are like,
Yeah,
don't show me that stuff. AI is nothing. But AI is here to stay. It's changing
yeah,
everything fundamentally, and you need to be aware of the technology. You need to actively use it. And when someone like when OpenAI releases a new tool, use it, learn it. And yeah, that it is stressful though, because like I can't keep up with all the tools being released. You got 50 companies releasing tools at a rapid pace, and I'm like, which one do I try today? I only have an hour to play with something. I can't do this. It's a lot.
yeah.
And it's easy. It's very easy to let that overwhelm you. I feel that. And I know people working in the industry right now, they have to feel that. And I would just say, it's going to be okay. Like, pace yourself. Don't stress yourself out, but push yourself to keep learning. Always push yourself. Those new AI tools, you need to learn them. See how those new AI tools can help you do your job better. That's the best thing I can tell you to do. Um, but yeah, anyways, getting back to my story a little bit, if you want to keep going with the story.
Oh, absolutely.
So YouTube started taking off like crazy, and it was such a massive blessing. And I got to a point where Dakota has already gotten to where you find out you can't do it all on your own. So I hired my first person, which is a person for email, because I never answer email, and it was really hurting me because I was losing sponsorships. So I hired a person that does email, then I hired an editor, then I hired another editor, and now I'm at a point where I have roughly 9, 10 people that are full time.
That's crazy.
And oh, it's terrifying. Like I'm like every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I pay these people every 2 weeks. That's a lot of money, but it's all God. God brought me here. He gave me the ability to teach. Every moment, every corner I've turned, He's been there to help me. Because like it's doing YouTube is hard. It is like you don't get it. Like when if you're not a YouTuber, when you post a video, you've got this ranking system, 1 through 10. And YouTube will tell you, hey, this video, it's a 1 of 10. That means out of the last 10 videos, this is the best video you've posted out of the last 10. So like that's what you want to get.
Yeah.
When you get into your YouTube studio, they even give you fireworks. And I don't know about you, Dakota, that's the best thing in the world. I'll refresh that page.
It is the best feeling too. And I hate it. I hate it too because of that.
Uh-huh. And then, but then you can't always post 1 of 10s unless you're Mr. Beast.
No.
You're gonna get those 10 of 10s. You're gonna get that 9 and 8 of 10s. And sometimes those might happen for a while. You'll get into a slump. And that'll make you go, huh, am I done? Have I fallen off? Should I quit it while I'm ahead? Like I've had those thoughts probably 17,000 times.
Oh my gosh.
And but it's been God that's kept me aware of what He's doing in my life and aware of like, don't get distracted by that stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm looking back on me when I first started out and I was looking for that job that would light me up to help me provide for my family, to like make me feel a bit more free and less stressed. And that was IT. So I'm trying to create those moments for people as much as possible. And it's still very much possible now. I know people are like, oh, AI, IT. No, it's we're able to do more than we ever have been able to do ever before, but there's still so much opportunity. I'm not worried at all. So yeah, anyways, I've got a full team now, and we worked with some really fun people. We did a video with Mr. Beast, which I still have not made a video about because it was hard and And we have so much footage, and it's this big Goliath in our NAS right now. I don't want to deal with. Um, but yeah, I'm excited about what we're doing now. We're making some really fun content. We're able to do more than we ever have, and I really do enjoy teaching. It's like the best thing in the world.
Absolutely.
And we'll be going to some cool stuff this year. So Cisco Live, we're going to Cisco Live. So if you're going to be there, I want to see you. Definitely want to hang out with you, Dakota.
Absolutely.
Looking at your hat, we are going to Black Hat and DEF CON this year.
Same.
So are
Same.
you going to go this year?
Well, I'm not going to Black Hat. I am going to DEF CON though this year.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to DEF CON, and I just want to make sure and enjoy DEF CON instead of trying to like just cram a whole bunch in while I'm down there. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna be running around like a crazy person with my crew recording things. So it's
oh
gonna
yeah.
be that's what we're doing it for. That's how we can justify these trips.
Yeah.
We're also doing something very fun. We're all going to Romania, but I can't really talk about that yet.
So awesome.
But we're doing some fun things, and being a YouTuber is like the greatest blessing in the world. It's also very hard, stressful, and I appreciate everyone who is okay with me sometimes not uploading for 3 weeks, which is currently what's happening right now. And being okay with me posting some AI slop every once in a while. Because you know what? I know people get tired of hearing about AI. I get it. I get fatigued too. Also, there are some things I feel you need to know because AI is here. So I'm going to teach you it even if you don't like it that much. It's like medicine
Yep.
because you have to know it. But anyways, Dakota, how do you feel about AI right now?
I'm right there with you. It is not going anywhere. And I feel this is what I tell everyone is the people who utilize AI as the tool that it is are going to exceed beyond everyone's wildest dreams. Um, I'm not saying like copy and paste everything in and out of ChatGPT because that is not the proper way to use it. But it is such a powerful tool. It is what Google was, so many years ago for the tech industry when people could actually start communicating with each other and like searching, forums and stuff like that. It's just reimagining it's building the tech industry. And yes, it is taking away some jobs. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I do believe it is closing some jobs, but for every job it takes away, it's opening up like 20 plus more. And people who are willing to adapt are never going to be out of a job. There people are willing to change and learn and are motivated to learn. You're going to have guaranteed jobs. But for the people who are really resistant to change and are stuck in their ways, they're going to start struggling, I feel. But that's kind of a hot take, I feel.
You know, it is a hot take, but I agree with you, so it's our hot take. I think that uh, AI is transforming certain jobs. And I say transforming. I don't think some jobs are going away. Like you might have a help desk that may only need 3 people instead of 20 because AI has streamlined things. So it's transformed that job, and they still need help desk. They still need so many people, and we're going to see more of that.
Absolutely.
So yes, use AI to make you better. And this is what I saw like when ChatGPT first like started coming out back in like 2023. It like was insane, and I was scared even back then. And if I would have known what we have now, I've been way more scared. But I knew that if you use this correctly, it'll make you amazing. But you can use it in a way to make you stupid. I think a lot of people are going to go that way.
Yeah.
Your brain, it's a muscle, buddy. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. It's going to atrophy. If you start putting all your thinking ability into something else, you're going to lose that thinking ability. You're going to lose your ability to look through documents and figure out what's important. You're going to lose your ability to write well. That will happen. So for me, the way I use AI is always, how can this help me do this better? It's like when I'm trying to like write better, I'll say, hey, I just wrote this thing. Don't correct, like don't rewrite it for me. I hate that. I'll tell it this.
Yeah.
Just tell me how it could be a bit better. Like maybe increase my prose, or if like goodness, maybe I'm just totally using that word wrong. Tell me that and then help me improve it, but never ever write for me. I've had to start getting in that habit. Sure, sometimes I get lazy and say, hey, write this little email for me, but most of the time I'm trying to use it to make me better. But on the other hand, this is where I love it. I'm not a coder. I learned Python to a point. I'm a scripter. I'm not a coder. Uh, AI is amazing for this. I'm not gonna ever have to learn programming now. Sure, programming's still gonna be around for a while, and we need people who know it well. But for people like you and me who want to build tools and like do some crazy stuff, AI just bridged that gap for us. We don't like we can just focus on like the thing we're trying to do and it does the coding for us. And that unlocks amazing things. So use AI to make you better. Just make sure uh you're not using it as a crutch.
Ah,
Use it to make you better, smarter in every way. Use it to use it to do things you couldn't do before. I don't know how heavily you use AI, Dakota, but I use it pretty heavily for a lot of things. And a lot of things I use it for now, people probably wouldn't like, but I use it to analyze my journals and help me see what I'm missing. Because you can get into like weird habit cycles and weird thinking cycles that kind of like you don't see until you get a bird's eye view and go, "Oh, okay."
oh yeah.
So I'll feed a lot of stuff into AI and say, "Hey, just tell me like what am I missing or like what am I not doing enough of or why am I feeling sad on these days?" And it'll correlate. Like AI is really good at correlating data, disparate data. So you do stuff like that. AI is gonna fill in those gaps that we could never have filled in before.
Absolutely, and sometimes just having that 10,000 foot view of something. I can't tell you how many times I've been stuck on something I was working on, and I would feed it into ChatGPT, just or whatever AI I was using that day, and just say, what am I missing? Don't solve the problem for me. Give me a direction. And just having
Mm.
that systems of check almost. I don't think that's the right word, but you know what I'm talking about here is, just having that other view on it can be so much help because yeah,
Yeah.
it really can. Again, if you let it become a crutch, it will totally just rob you of everything, and I've definitely gone down that rabbit hole, before where, I was having ChatGPT, create stupid emails for me that I didn't want to respond to and stuff like that. And I kind of had to take a step back. And who thought that prompt engineering would be a thing so many years ago? You know what I mean? That's crazy. But um, use it to make yourself better. You know, that is really the key.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad you brought up prompt engineering because engineering is something I'm always trying to become better at because if you can figure out how to ask really good questions to AI, you have a superpower. And the ability to do that, to prompt the AI properly means that you can put together something in a system. Like you understand how things are supposed to work. You can solve problems. That's what people don't realize is that the people who are using AI to do some crazy stuff, they're not using it as a crutch. They're using it as a complete superpower. They've expanded their abilities, not replaced them. And that's what AI is going to do. Now, sure, maybe one day in 30 years, we're just all going to be sitting on a beach because we don't have to do anything. We have endless food, endless whatever. I hope not. That sounds terrible. Being that bored all the time would be the worst thing.
Yeah.
But for now, just enjoy the ride because there has never like again, sometimes I get in like the whole dooms, like, oh my gosh, what's my career like? What's it gonna be like in 10 years? But on the flip side, I'm like, there's never been a better time to be in IT. There's never been a better time to like know how Docker works and be able to deploy tools that are available to us. Like it's so insane. Like if you know a little bit about AI and you use ChatGPT for a few things, you're way ahead of most people because most people do not use AI the way we do. It is a fascinating time to be in. It's so fun.
There is so much you can do with it, and just going beyond just content generation and doing the simple stuff is just having that almost like I just envision that whole domain expansion. That's just the brain exploding type of thing, when you know I use it to be almost a second brain for me, and just I can feed it what I'm working on and just come up with things that I've never even thought of. And sometimes it's garbage things, but
Mhm.
that might lead to something like, oh, wait a minute, and help me work on a project. Yeah, absolutely.
That happens to me so much. I'll say, "Hey, generate 20 ideas on this." I will never use any of the ideas, but one of those
No,
dumb ideas it said sparked something up here. I'm like, "Oh, okay,
exactly.
shit, yeah. Your stuff was dumb, but it made me think. Thank you." Like, I'll do that.
Exactly. Now, I got to ask, if tech were to disappear tomorrow, what would you be doing instead?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would probably I would probably make videos. I would still teach. I would teach something else. I would teach how to make benches or something, or how to
So cool.
I don't know, just something. I would do that because I really do enjoy it, and I enjoy making content. I enjoy telling a story like that. So I think I would be doing the same thing. Just it won't be tech.
That's cool. And it took me a while to figure out like I enjoyed teaching. I had so many people come up to me and tell me that like, oh, you're such a great teacher and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, whatever. I just always would blow them off. And I don't think it was until I started getting serious about YouTube, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so. And I kind of realized like, I'm actually good at this and I kind of enjoy it too. I have fun with this. Finding something that you're good at and you also enjoy, like, you know, I remember back in the day, like I'd be working on my car and like under the hood, like getting my hands dirty, and someone like a family member would be like, "Oh, you're really good at working on cars. You ever think about becoming a mechanic?" And I would say, just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I enjoy doing it. It just means I will do it because I hate to pay someone else to do that or something like that.
Mhm.
And so finding something you really enjoy and you're also good at is just like I can't explain it. You know what? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like when I discovered like I could make content about IT rather than do IT, because I do love doing IT to a point until I get bored, and then I want to move on to the next thing. And so that's why like when I was a network engineer and voice engineer, I was kind of bad at my job because like I would never make documentation because that was too boring for me. I loved learning about the new stuff and then deploying new things, but supporting that new thing or making sure it worked really well over time, that was not my thing. So I was kind of like I was really good at like, here, boss, let me tell you about this new thing we're gonna do and let me explain it to you and let me convince you to do it. But oh, I was just terrible at my job. And actually, I forgot to mention that uh, the reason I quit my last like real IT job, like or where I was doing IT, was because of that job. I was doing a whole new numbering system for our company. So like again, I was a voice engineer. We're changing up the numbering system. It's gonna be a massive change, and I had to present this change to our VPs in the IT department. This is a big company. So when we're in a boardroom, I put together this little presentation. I was just making it fun, being me, and I thought they were going to pay attention to it because it's very nerdy stuff. But at the end of it, the VP looks at me and he goes, "That was really good. Like, how did you do that? I paid attention to the whole thing." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And that was right around the time like when CBT was kind of reaching out to me, and I'm like, huh, maybe I can do this. I think I like this. So that was the biggest, like that person probably doesn't even remember saying that to me, but that moment totally like solidified in me and gave me the courage to step out and like do this teaching thing. But you're right, teaching's amazing. It's also hard though. People don't realize like it's not just like a thing you can turn on. Learning how to teach and then figuring out how to explain something very simply is the hardest thing to do. It's easy to do a demo. Like, let me show you how this thing works.
Yeah.
Telling you how it works. Oh, and then making sure like you understand it well enough to articulate it. Oh, it's a whole thing. It's a battle.
Just sitting down in front of the camera and turning the lights on, like getting that like motivation sometimes is difficult because let's be honest, yeah, like most of us would much rather just sit back and watch some TV show or something like that.
Hmm.
Getting the drive to like, I enjoy it, but still on the same hand, like there's just days you like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this. I got to get it done, and
Yes.
it's not that you don't enjoy it. It's just like it's a lot. It takes a lot out of you to come and be everything. You got to be like 120%, especially when you're talking on camera.
Hmm.
I recognize that, and it's rough. So
It's an incredible amount of energy, and if you talk the way I do, like with your hands, I'll close my move ring on my Apple Watch, recording a whole day. Like I'm sitting down, but like I am burning calories. I'm moving around, and I find that if I don't record pretty regularly, like if I don't record at least every other day, I start to kind of atrophy. And then I get back in front of the camera after a while, like after a vacation, and I'm like, oh, I have to teach myself how to do this again. And then I'll mess up like 50 times, and my editors will hate it because they'll know, like, ah, Chuck's rusty again. Here we go.
yep.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing, but it's so fun. And it's like where the world of IT and teaching and creativity all kind of just blend together, and it's just a really fun thing to do.
Uh,
Now, Dakota, I'm curious, do you plan on hiring more people?
Yes, I'm actually currently on the search for like a social media manager.
Cool.
I'm very much like when I started my YouTube channel, I did it differently. Like I have this huge passion to help people, but I also want to treat it as a business. Kind of I'm at 9 people. I think I'm sure you treat it as a business now. But um I plan to try to stay in my current job, my day job as director as long as possible. And the only way I can do that is to buy back my time with more help. I've not only got the YouTube channel, I launched my own community. I'm creating my own courses now too, as well, and things like that. And there's just not enough hours in the day. And plus, on top of that, I got a wife and 3 kids. I can't imagine what your life is like with, your family and everything. But yeah, so my whole thought about it is I'm just reinvesting the funds back into the business and buying back my time. So
Mm. That I agree with that to a point, but you got to be very careful with the overhead.
yeah,
The overhead. Uh, there are times I do daydream about when it was just me in my one little room, and it was maybe not as less stressful as I remember because I'm romanticizing the past, but it is a lot to have a lot of overhead and that drive to have to keep to pay that monthly bill, but also it enables you to do so much more. So you're on the right track. Just make sure you count that cost.
yeah. No, I'm keeping it small. It's been over a year now since I had my editor start with me. And I looked at it at what was the biggest time suck for me and also what took the most joy out of it. Because I love creating videos. I definitely do not enjoy editing videos. It just takes so much of the fun out of it for me. And I would put out crappy content because I would just be like, oh, I'm so done editing here.
Oh yeah.
So it makes me a better content creator. I feel that way. But yes, I 100% agree with that. And definitely starting small, quick, slow to hire, fast to fire, I think is the what
hmm
the term is out
hmm
there. So absolutely.
I still haven't learned that, by the way. But I have a really good team right now, like amazing team. So I'm scared to hire anyone else.
I
Uh,
and I love that you're not the only face we see on the Network Chuck channel as well. With the shorts and everything. I love that you were able to do that. That's something that a lot of YouTubers don't do. They carry the load themselves, and it's just really cool to see is where you've grown, what you've done with the channel, and it's very very inspirational.
I appreciate that, Dakota. Yeah, my team is very creative. They're sometimes very much more creative than I am, especially outside of IT stuff. But like I have to bring them back into the IT realm. Like, okay, be creative, but talk about switches. Um, but they're getting into IT a bit. Actually, my whole team right now, most of them are going for their A plus, which is very fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
So as I'm creating the A plus course we're creating for the academy, they're going through it. So it's been very fun.
And speaking of your academy, what's on the future for Network Chuck? I know you can't tell me all the secrets, but is there anything that you are super excited about that's coming up in the future?
Yes, I'll give some teasers. We are working on some really, really fun things. We have a whole team that this is outside the team I'm working with right now that I pay full time. We have a whole team working on this. And the same guy who brought me here, Jeremy Chara, the one who I watched his content, we're partners in this now. So we're building this academy together. And I'm really excited about that because he's a master teacher. It's where I learned. So to have him teaching with me is like the best thing ever. So
That's so cool.
we're we're bringing so right now you can actually see some of his content. It's already on the academy. He made an entire CCNA course for the modern era, and he's the best CCNA teacher. Period. Better than me, way better than me. Um, so we're building that, but we're also building something very cool on top of that. That's not quite ready yet, but it's a lot of what I said already in this call about people finding what they're good at and finding their passion and getting clarity on like what they're actually going to do with their lives, because not a lot of people do that. They just kind of fumble their way through a job, or they chose a college degree because their parents said it might be good. We want to help bridge that gap. We want to change up that decision making and give guidance on that, and then provide just an amazing path to IT. So you're doing a lot of that too. It's the best thing ever to provide that kind of thing, just to be like, hey, I found this cool thing. Why don't you let me show you how to come with me? Come on, let's go. I love being able to do that. So yeah, that's the biggest thing we're building right now. And Of course, I'm selling coffee. If you want some coffee, go get some coffee. Networkchuck.coffee. I'm drinking it right now.
That's awesome. You switch to decaf these days, I hear though.
Yeah, yeah. So right now I'm drinking decaf. I have to drink decaf in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'll drink two full powered coffee cups of coffee in the morning, but afternoon I have to do it. Although we are going to stop selling our decaf, which is kind of sad because no one bought it.
Oh,
Apparently, I'm the only old man around that has to drink decaf. So we'll
what
have the.
what's
Sorry, what?
what's your favorite blend? I was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no,
What's
you're
your
fine.
favorite blend that you have?
So my favorite is the default route, which is a roast out of Ethiopia, and they just have the most full-bodied, flavorful roast. It's amazing. I go to it as my go-to. My second favorite would be the pseudo blend, which is they're not blends. They're single origin, so they're just
Yeah,
from farmer to us. We roast it, ship it out, and normally when we ship it to you, it's been within like 2 days, so you get that nice fresh coffee flavor.
that's crazy.
I mean, we are our best customers. I order so much and drink so much of it, it's ridiculous. If you run into me at Cisco Live, I'll try to have some with me and I'll hand it out.
That's awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know we've met in person before, but just meeting again, hopefully we can make that happen. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that'll be great.
Awesome. Well, Chuck, thank you again so much. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I could go on for hours upon hours. I think we're actually already over on time, but thank you. And do you have, for people that made it this far, do you have any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to bestow upon us, mere mortals?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I would say two things. First, don't wait to figure out what you're doing. I would, right after this video, sit down and just jot a few things down of what you're trying to do with your life. And then just think about what are the things you have to do to make that happen. So maybe you're trying to become a network engineer. Maybe you want to jump into IT. Put that as your goal. And then underneath that goal, say, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to study every day. I'm going to watch educational YouTube content on YouTube to get inspired. And I'm going to make study 40 flashcards. Like just do a plan. Figure that out and follow it. And the second thing would be just start right now. Like my whole thing is like right now. I'm serious. Don't wait right now. Replace a bad habit right now with studying IT. Jump into it. If you're playing too many video games, because you are, let's be honest, you've been playing a lot of video games. Stop it. Cut it in half or something, or make video games your reward for studying for an hour. Just like hack your brain a bit. Start right now. Don't wait for stinking anything because all you have, literally all you have is today. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. What you do today is going to impact everything. And guess what? Tomorrow, that same thing is true. All you have is today. That's my best advice I can give people. Anyways, that's it.
That's some amazing advice. And on that note, everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you took something away from this, let us know down in the comments below. Everyone, again, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, keep learning.